Snap out of it. Stop thinking your vote doesn't matter and doesn't affect our community. This November, truth is, we need everyone to vote. Fill out your ballot early and return it before November 7th. Then text your family and friends that their vote matters and remind them to get up, get out, and be a voter. A message from the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County.
Welcome to the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County Forum for candidates for the Arlington City Council, positions 4 and 6. I'm Vicki Roberts-Gassler, member of the League. This forum is being live streamed to our League YouTube channel. To those in the virtual space, thank you for joining us. Let me provide some background on this position. City Council members manage basic public services: sewer, water, fire, police, roads, parks, etc. They establish and enforce local laws, control how land can be used, and provide direction to the mayor or the city manager. They manage relationships with other governments, nonprofits, and businesses for the benefit of city residents. Candidates for Arlington City Council Position 4 are Kenneth Dilbeck and Michelle Blythe. And candidates for Arlington City Council Position 6 are Gregory Miller and Yvonne M. Gallardo Van Orman. Michelle Blythe is not joining us today. It is the policy of the League to be nonpartisan. Therefore, we neither endorse nor oppose candidates or parties. The rules for participation in this forum were sent ahead of time to all candidates. I will pose the questions and will state clearly the amount of time allowed for each answer. We are using a countdown timer visible to all the candidates, and time limits on answers will be strictly enforced. I will change the starting order for each question, alternating candidates in the starting position to ensure a fair sequence. The order for the first question will be Gregory Miller, then Kenneth Dilbeck, and finally Yvonne Gallardo. Let's begin. Candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to this first question. So, Mr. Miller, the first question is, what are the major issues you feel need to be addressed by this office? Please explain why you are focusing on these issues.
The two that come to mind for the most urgency are the homelessness, mental illness, and our traffic. The mental illness and homelessness usually go hand in hand, and we have a embedded social worker program within Arlington that's been helping get people the needs for food, housing, and employment. And I want to encourage that program further and give it all the assets and focus and make sure people know about it, the community, and those that are in the most need of help. And the other one, since Arlington is surrounded by 4 state highways with the traffic and the congestion, we've seen some progress, obviously, with the roundabouts and lighting. So that's helpful, but we need to keep pressure on the state and for the funding on the expansion of the roads. So those items are my forefront to work on, if so fortunate to be elected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vicki, please unmute.
Mr. Dilbeck, same question. And you need to unmute too.
Okay. First, I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for the opportunity to present. I'd like to echo some of the things that Greg talked about. The key issues for me is that Arlington is entering a period of unprecedented growth. There's expected to be over 10,000 new jobs in the area, which is going to put incredible pressure on our infrastructure, things like roads, water, sewer, parks, etc. It is also going to put a lot of stress on our built-in safety mechanisms. Again, talking about roads, public lighting, speed limit enforcement within our residential areas, things of that nature that I think are really critical. And the last is schooling and workforce education, preparing our community and the population to be prepared for the new jobs that are out there. I'm aware that there's existing plans for infrastructure improvement. I'd like to see us develop plans that are looking out 10, 15 to 30 years out and begin to put the things in place to allow that growth to occur. In the safety side, I think it's very crucial that we partner with the police department and our existing infrastructure to increase those things. As Greg mentioned, the mental health and drug issues are paramount in this community. In the area of schools, we need to be working with the school board and the businesses to identify what skill sets are going to be required and have the best programs in place to have our students prepared to do that and have programs to help our workers advance their skill sets. I think the center of excellence that's proposed for the airport is an absolutely wonderful thing, and we need to get that built out.
Thank you. Ms. Gallardo.
Hi, thank you, everybody. And I really appreciate the league for putting this together and everybody watching tonight. So thank you for coming out and helping support all of us. I think some of the major issues, I agree. I think we're dealing a lot with our growth, and we do have a lot of new people coming up to Arlington. We have a beautiful city up here. People are discovering how much we have here. Our infrastructure is great. We have some work to do. And I think besides the traffic and besides the mental health, those are incredibly important. But I also think that those will be addressed a little bit later in the discussion, and I can talk more about it later. But I think that another major issue for me that won't be discussed necessarily later on would be also communication. And I think the city does a great job of putting information out into the newsletters. We always are promoting the open houses and public comments. But I think there's got to be a better way to show the importance of showing up to these events and making sure that people have a reason to come to those meetings and really demonstrating to them how important their voice is during city council meetings, during the open houses, when we go out to the neighborhoods and are doing the neighborhood meetings, that we want to hear their feedback and we want to make sure that they all understand that it really does impact our decisions. Affordable housing is also another one that was brought up, but I think that's another major issue. I mean, with wanting to be here for a very long time, I definitely support any policy that will ensure that we can handle that growth and still be able to work at the local level, working with the state policies to ensure that we're meeting their requirements at the local level.
Thank you. For the second question, in fact, for the next 3 questions, timer, please adjust the clock. The candidates will each have 90 seconds. And we will lead off this time with Mr. Dilbeck. The question is, what qualifications and experience make you a good choice to address these issues?
In my career, I've had the opportunity to work directly with the majority of the major telecommunications companies in the world, addressing how to introduce new technologies, how to look at growth in a organic way so that you're not thinking that I'm going to cure one problem and that'll be it. You have to be adopting a continuous change model where you realize that you have to reevaluate your methodologies, reevaluate your plans on a regular basis to continue to take on new technologies, recognizing the change in demographics, the change of need within the community, and adapting to those changes. To be specific, I've worked with the telcos on transitions in technology, such as moving from 4G to 5G. This required both data and process analysis at a very detailed level, and helping them plan through that, helping them find compromise across competitors, and finding a business model that was a win-win for everyone involved in that, I think was something that helps me be able to reach across and help different interests in this area come together.
Thank you. Ms. Gallardo.
I'm proud to say that in 2022, I was one of 10 that interviewed for the open seat for city council, and I was appointed to city council in June of 2022. And I believe it had everything to do with my diverse background. I'm the only candidate on the ballot that has actual elected experience at both the city and county level. I've been a very active member of this community since 2015. My elected experience includes sitting on the Arlington Planning Commission for 2 years, sitting on the Snohomish County Arts Commission for a year. I've also served on at least 6 boards for organizations that advocate to improve community safety and child welfare, improve the quality of our education system, provide scholarships for students and moms. I've supported annual memorial service events for the fallen. I've worked on programs and events that honor the police and fire department and also promote Latino professional development. I'm also the only city council member with kids currently in our school system. And I think that's a great benefit to the community because I represent a whole different group of demographics of folks that are impacted differently by the policies we vote in. I was also the chamber director for 3 years in Monroe. So I've learned a lot about community development. I've learned a lot about small business development and that partnership between the city and supporting our businesses. I also served in the Navy for 9 years, which taught me to be incredibly flexible, always planning ahead at least 3 years and always knowing that change is coming in the future. I'm a quick learner, dedicated, and always ready for a challenge.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
Recently retired from the Boeing Company after 33 years, and our pet internet e-commerce business our family runs. Our daughter runs it day-to-day operations, so I can focus totally on the city council as I'm retired. I'm not going to coast it on the city council. I'm not going to coast it in retirement. I want to focus all my energies of what I can do, my little piece of it, to help our community and keep that charm and as we grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gallardo, you first this time. What measures, if any, would you support to keep housing options affordable in Arlington? 90 seconds.
Well, since I plan to reside here for a very long time and I just adore Arlington, I definitely want to make sure and focus on measures that support housing options like auxiliary dwelling units or townhomes, making sure that we are focusing on ample parking. I know that's a huge issue when we are bringing in a lot of apartments, and it causes a lot of backups in communities that are surrounded by those apartments. And so to be able to focus on also setbacks that allow for a nice size sidewalk that would give us not just the room that we need for a wheelchair and to be ADA compliant, but like being able to really walk them with friends and going out with friends and being able to do stuff and not feel scared that somebody's going to hit us. Being able to also make sure that we take into consideration the height of the buildings and that we don't cover up too much of this beautiful view that we have in some places. And so that's how I would support any of those measures and how I want to make sure we have affordable housing in our community.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
Sorry, off mute. Continue the growth of housing and focus on developments that increase affordable housing for all. And as we grow, hopefully the price and demand will somehow influx and make it affordable. But as long as we can focus on development and developers who can focus on units of size and affordability, so we can all prosper as a community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dilbeck.
I think one of the key things here is to be able to assess how well we're using federal and state and even local funding to address the problem. There are funds that are there. I would like to make sure that we are maximizing our access into those and applying it to the best of the community's ability. The other is I would really like to see a group or a council formed that was composed of community members and the developers of our community facilities, so that they could begin to discuss what are the goals, what are the shared goals between the community at large, and what the developers need to do to meet those, to increase the availability of those that would have solutions that were acceptable both to the community and to the developer community. I think it is key to get that public business partnership in place in order to continue to provide affordable housing into the Arlington community. And lastly, I'd like to see if there are ways we could potentially incentivize the developers to put in low-cost housing, whether it be through grants, federal, state, or other incentives that we can offer as a township. Thank you.
Thank you. Leading this time with Mr. Miller, all local jurisdictions are required to update their comprehensive plans in 2024. Are there changes or additions to the current plan that you would suggest? And if so, please explain.
I'm glad that the climate is part of the growth management look ahead, and that way we can anticipate as much as possible with climate change and any issues that we can at least anticipate or budget or foresee into those challenges that come with it. But I'm happy to see that climate is front and center of that, but no other changes that I can think of currently. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dilbeck.
Okay, I'd like to assure that the current plan adequately addresses the points that I raised earlier on sewer or infrastructure, safety, and education. And if not, be able to shore up those objectives in that long-term plan. Then I would like to be able to take perhaps a quick win look at the plan to determine if there are some things in that plan that we could move to find some quick wins in what I will loosely call the smart city area, where we begin to look at the telemetry data that our current systems already capture, look at the metered data that our systems already have, and just to look at that from the more of an AI perspective. Are there things that we can learn from that data? Are there insights that we can gain into our community that we currently aren't doing? And also take a look at, are there some, again, public, business, private partnerships we can implement that would allow us to share data across those borders to make some very, to provide background and objective proof for some of the programs that we currently have in flight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Gallardo.
I think it's important that we make sure to continue to support anything that will show support for affordable housing units and public safety. I also would like to make sure that we include public transportation and seeing how we can implement public transportation to get folks out of cars and still moving throughout the city, but we're trying to move people, not cars, throughout the town. And gladly support any policies that will just give us more options on multi-generational living and giving families an opportunity to live comfortably as they wish in our great city. And then showing support and making sure that we are giving the support that is needed to programs and organizations like the Arlington Resource Center that help not just a minority of the group that may or may not, need some extra help financially, but they also provide a nice, safe area to have classes and educational programs that help improve the town and the people in our town.
Thank you. Timer, please note that we will shift to 60 seconds for each of these last two questions. Beginning with Mr. Dilbeck, what actions, if any, would you propose to respond to our changing climate?
I know that the community transit has taken some very bold moves in addressing that and improving their carbon footprint within their fleet. I would like the city to take a look at if there's ways that we can emulate that with city vehicles. How can we move them more or into less of a carbon footprint than they currently have. I'd also like us to consider having meaningful conversations with some of the vehicles that are on our road the most, whether it be Amazon delivery trucks, FedEx, UPS, Xfinity, these various companies that share our roads, contribute to our carbon footprint. Can we have meaningful conversations with them to help reduce our overall carbon footprint?
Thank you. Ms. Gallardo.
So to help respond to our changing climate, I think I'm really excited to know and to hear that we are talking about putting in charging stations in downtown. I think that helps support the folks that do have those e-cars, and being able to encourage folks to shop and get out of their vehicles and walk around downtown and support our local community and our small businesses. And so that's really exciting for me to know that that's coming. And then also, as an employee of the Conservation District, I'm always keeping in mind conservation and seeing how do we make sure that we partner and work with other organizations that are doing it really well, and being able to implement some of those policies or programs or events into our own city. And with the Smoky Point Park, I'm actually kind of excited. I've started conversations about seeing if maybe there's a way that we can partner with the Conservation District and our rain garden facility that's coming to the park.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. Miller.
As an EV owner, I appreciate when I can go to a restaurant or a Safeway, and I know there's the EV charger stations there. I'm going to be more apt to do my business with them. I know exactly where I can charge for free or a reduced price. And I'm loving that EV chargers are coming to the Smoky Point Park, and future developments are embracing the EV charging stations. So we can see that for the residents of those developments, and also encourage going greener and everyone doing their part. So I appreciate coming to our town. Thank you.
Thank you. For our final question, again for 60 seconds, we begin with Ms. Gallardo. The question is, please tell us something about your life experience that might surprise or intrigue the voters.
Fun fact. So one day we're going to open a brewery. My husband and I both want to open a brewery tap room. And so in order to support that dream of ours, we both have graduated from the Craft Brewing Academy out in Skagit Valley College. And so through that program, it also helped support a nonprofit that I ran for like 6 years, and it was called Local Liquid Arts. And so Local Liquid Arts helped support the craft brewery industry, which was wineries, breweries, and distilleries. And through that experience, I've also helped support local breweries and local places like Glory Bucha, and helped, develop some of their, when they were starting out, I helped bring back or start their business plan. And I've done a lot through, and because of that school, I've been able to go through and talk to other craft breweries and wineries and help support them in different ways and understand how their operations are.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
As a 10-year-old, I started my first business startups, and ever since then, I've had that entrepreneurial spirit. So, of course, over the years, I've had some more successful than other businesses, and I'm happy that our business is employing the people that we can and as much as we can do, and all in Arlington, and keep that local, and as much as possible expand and keep our employees working. And I like to encourage others to grow and start their business in Arlington. It's a great place and a great time to do it. So thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Gilbeck, you have the final word on this, my favorite question.
Okay. In my career, I had the opportunity to be the moderator on a number of sessions where I had some of the top technical minds in the world in a room discussing some very fine points of technical interfaces, process and data changes that were required to implement new technologies. The really intriguing part of that was everyone was in theory speaking English, but very few of the people understood each other very well. You don't realize it, but Japanese English is much different than German English, and different than Finnish English, and even different than English English. So my role was to be able to reframe those questions, find consensus, help them to develop that, and moderate the sessions so that everyone could walk out feeling like they had a win-win and contributed to a valid or a positive effort.
Thank you. The League thanks these candidates for joining us and for running for office. A recording of this forum and others will be available on the League of Women Voters of Snohomish County website and on our YouTube channel. Find the links at lwvsnoho.org. We encourage you to explore additional information about these and all candidates. Vote411.org, sponsored by the League, is another good source of information. The Snohomish County voter pamphlet will be mailed starting October 18th. Ballots will be mailed starting October 19th, and Election Day is November 7th. Please be a voter. Thank you to our League Candidate Forum team, and special thanks to Dave Moon and the Sultan School students at TurkPride.tv who made this live stream possible. And of course, thank you all for joining us. This concludes our candidate forum.